winners don't do different things, they do things differently. Can you just tell me that what do you exactly mean by this statement?
They're the same things winners don't like to do either, but they do it anyway.
If you have good skills, but if you don't put the right mindset, the good heart to it, then you can never achieve success or you can never finish that job.
Hard work will beat talent anytime. Analyze their life, analyze every transaction, you will find the negative behavior has become habitual. Look at what Narayan Murthy has been saying. 70 hours a week.
My country, I want to work 70 hours a week.
Elon Musk, guy says 80 hours a week. And if you don't want to work that much, pack your bag and quit, leave it. If you want to buy things without looking at the price, start working without looking at the clock.
So men don't want to be men anymore.
Ex-men, they don't want to be men anymore.
You know something? They are not at peace with themselves. If you look at the life histories of people who have succeeded, they have lived by this one principle.
Hi everyone. So in today's podcast, we would be hosting Mr. Shiv Khera. He is a very renowned coach and an author. And in today's podcast, we would be talking about how to win in life, both personally and professionally. So Mr. Khera, there is this patent line of yours. Winners don't do different things, they do things differently. Can you just tell me that what do you exactly mean by this statement?
Bharat, when we say, many times people ask me, what do winners do differently? And my answer is, winners form the habit of doing things losers don't like to do. And what are the things losers don't like to do? They're the same things winners don't like to do either, but they do it anyway. See, losers don't like to get up in the morning. Winners don't like to get up in the morning either, but they get up anyway. See, losers don't like to work hard. Winners don't like to work hard either, but they work hard anyway. See, winners form the habit of doing things losers don't like to do. See, why do I share this with you? For the simple one reason, if we have to think to do the right thing, we can never do it right. We can never do it right. It must come automatic. It must become reflex action. Now, why do I share that? See, when we were growing up, when we were kids, our parents said one thing: form good habits, and habits form characters. Why? Because 90% of our behavior is habitual. We don't think, we just act. And if we have positive habits, we are a positive character. And if we have negative habits, we are a negative character. Good habits are hard to come by, but they're easy to live with. Bad habits come easy, but they're hard to live with. And before we got the habits got us. We are creatures of habits. Have you heard this phrase, practice makes perfect?
Yes.
I don't believe this phrase at all. Let me share with you why do I. How many times people say, this is a little lie, when the big one comes, I'll tell the truth. You practice enough little lies in life, and the big one comes, what happens? You end up telling a big lie. See, people said this is a little thing, when the big one comes, I'll show courage. You practice cowardice enough little things in life, when the big one comes, what happens? You end up being a big coward. See, folks, practice does not make perfect. Practice only makes permanent whatever you practice. How many times have you heard people talking like this? That this person is just lucky. Every time he touches dirt becomes gold. मिट्टी को हाथ लगाता है सोना हो जाती है. And this person is just unlucky. He touches gold, becomes dirt. Now, there is truth in it minus the word luck. The person you call lucky, every time he touches dirt becomes gold. Analyze their life. Analyze every transaction in their life, and you will find the positive behavior has become habitual. Every time they do it right, it happens right. Why? Because the reflexes move right. And the person we call unlucky, analyze their life, analyze every transaction, you will find the negative behavior has become habitual. Every time they do it wrong, it happens wrong because the reflexes are moving wrong. One more example I'll share with you. In the defense services, you will find that about 60 to 70% of the career goes into simulation of warfare. What is simulation of warfare? They are playing war games as if there's a real war going on right now. Why? Because they want to get into reflex action. Why? Because they realize when there's a real war, if they have to think to fight a war, do you think they can ever fight a war? Answer is never. So when you talk of What do winners do differently? Winners form the habit of doing things losers don't like to do. And that's when our 4-day leadership program, people walk away with a 41-day action plan. What is a 41-day action plan?
That it takes 41 days to change a
To
habit.
form a habit.
Yeah.
So it must become reflex. So that is one part, they form the habit. And number two, winners always put in that extra effort even when it hurts. Even when it hurts. Dan Gable won the world title on wrestling. When he became the champion, people asked him, how do you become the champion? He said, when I was preparing for the championship bout, I was exhausted. I wanted to give up. But then I pictured my opponent. He must be practicing, so I went back into practice. Again, a point came. I was so exhausted, I couldn't get up. I pictured my opponent. He must be practicing, so I went back into more practice. He said a point came. I could not lift myself anymore. I pictured my opponent in the shower. I don't think he can pick himself anymore either. Guess what I did? He said, I went back into more practice. He said, till now we were at par. This is the only edge I have on him. Now tell me, is there a coincidence he became a champion? Answer is no. See, winners don't do different things. They do things differently. And one more very crucial thing is, see, what is the difference between a laborer, a craftsman, and an artist? 3 people were constructing a wall, and a man passing by asked one person, what are you doing? He said, don't you see I'm making a living? And he asked the second person, what are you doing? He said, don't you see I'm building a wall here? And he asked the third person, what are you doing? He said, I'm building a school where there'll be future leaders coming here. 3 people doing the same work gave different answer. Will there be a difference in the performance? Answer is yes. Now, what is the difference? What is the difference between a laborer, craftsman, and an artist? A person who works with only the hand is a laborer. A person who works with the hand and the head is a craftsman. And a person who works with the hand, head, and the heart is an artist. Till we bring everything that we do in life to a point of art, we can never do anything well or proficiently. Never. Many, many years ago, the world record on high jump used to be 7'4". Not pole vault, high jump. How can a human being clear a bar 7'4"? Boy, 4'7" is tough. So somebody asked the champion, how do you clear a bar 7'4"? And his answer says it all. He said, I throw my heart over the bar and my body follows. How do you like that? He said, I throw my heart over the bar and my body follows. Now tell me, how can he not be a champion? How can he not be a champion? See, this, again I repeat, winners don't do different things. They do things differently. It makes a lot of sense. They always put in that extra effort even when it hurts. You know something, whenever people start, whatever they do, my new book that is coming out, we talk, many people are good starters, but they're not good finishers. They will start many, many things, but they will never end up finishing anything.
Can I also put it this way that, execution is the key here, that many people, they have a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas, but they don't put it into practice or into action.
That's right.
And that can also lead to failures as well.
You see, Bharat, we consult with many organizations and we find they do tremendous strategic planning. And they're good at it. But where do they fail? 90% of those organizations fail in implementation, execution. Average idea, well executed, is better than a great idea poorly executed. And that is where we fail. And why do people fail in execution? You see, strategy is a skill set. Who's going to implement? Your people. For people to implement, what do they need? Mindset. So what is mindset? Mindset is attitude, integrity, values, leadership. You see, a great boxer once said, to succeed in life, we need 2 things. We need the skill and we need the will. One without the other will not do the job. We need both. But between the 2, will is a little more important than skill. Why? He said, when I was fighting the championship bout and I was knocked down, and he said, I was lying on the floor and the referee was counting me out. At that time, it was not my skill that picked me up. What skill? He already beat me. At that time, it was my will that kept saying to me, get up one more time. Just get up one more time. Just get up one more time. Just get up one more. Just get up one more time. It was my will, not my skill, that picked me up. So really, this is the difference. When you ask people, and sadly many people, when we work programs, you ask them, what is the difference with skill and competence? Most people cannot tell. They come up with all kinds of loose words, which really don't fit right. Skill is an ability. Competence is ability along with the willingness and the desire to do the job. You see, there are many skillful people who are totally incompetent. And when we talked of the difference between a laborer, craftsman, and an artist, you can tell the difference whenever we do deal with anybody. The cook who cooks your food, you can tell, was it only cooked with the hand or with the heart? A doctor, when they examine you, you can tell if this guy is examining you with only the hands and the head, or he's putting his heart into it. You can always tell the difference no matter what happens.
If you do something good, if you have good skills, but if you don't put the right mindset, the good heart to it, then you can never achieve success or you can never finish that job.
I feel very strongly that hard work will beat talent anytime. A talented person who's not willing to work hard, they'll lose out in life. Hard work will beat. Look at Bruce Lee. He had no skill, but he had the will. Look at Michael Phelps, created history. He had no skill, but he had the will. See, it was the will that picked him up. And that is the key. I mean, why go that far? You look at today, even my own life, when I went to US myself, I started life washing cars door to door and gradually moved on to selling life insurance. And my manager called me to fire me within 3 months for non-performance. And I said, Joe, give me one more shot. And that evening, I attended a program by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the man who wrote the book, Power of Positive Thinking. I listened to the man that day. And after attending his program, I realized that I was my own biggest problem. It was my attitude. Nothing changed outside, but something changed inside here, and the direction of my life changed.
So, sir, this is a very good topic which you have touched based upon, which is attitude. I personally believe in this quote, fake it till you make it. And I really believe that if you have the right attitude along with the right mindset, right discipline, right motivation, and right integrity, then nothing can stop you from achieving success in your life. But I would want to hear from you that what does a good attitude means to you?
So the important thing is, Bharat, people say, how do you become a positive thinker? This is mental conditioning, by the way. This is mental conditioning. Now, in our program, people sometimes bring up and they say, well, how can you choose your thoughts? Can you choose your thoughts? They just keep coming randomly from here, and then I can't choose my thoughts. I said, wait a minute. Let me share with you, how do we choose our thoughts? See, I was once invited by the Cancer Society to address terminally ill people. Terminally ill means doctor said, pack your bags, you're going upstairs. Now, they wanted me to help them change their mindset, think positive. Now, doctor said, pack up, you're leaving upstairs, and now I have to speak to say, think positive. I was having a very rough time thinking, what do I say? I thought of examples who have beaten cancer and Lance Armstrong and people like that. But they'd heard of these things before. So my daughter, she said, Dad, you seem to be having a little problem. I said, yeah. How do I talk to these people and tell them become positive? When the doctor said, pack up. She said, Dad, sit down. Supposing you go to a restaurant and you are a vegetarian and you order a plate of vegetarian sandwich. But 10 minutes later, the waiter brings you a plate of chicken sandwich. What would you do? I said, I'll call the waiter back and I'll say, take it back. I didn't order this. Get me a fresh one, a vegetarian sandwich. She said, Dad, that's exactly how you choose our thoughts in life. That's exactly. Now, because negative thing will happen. It happened there at the restaurant. So it says, no, no, I didn't order this. Take it back. Get me a fresh one. Take it back. Get me a fresh one. Because negative keeps coming. Just like a garden. You plant good seeds, weeds keep coming. Weeds keep coming. To what? To destroy all your hard work. They are there to destroy your hard work.
Sure.
Now the farmer has a choice. Either get destroyed or destroy them. Both can't live together. So she said, look, Dad, just tell them, I didn't order this, take it back. Now, where is the problem? Have you noticed there are some people who are mentally tough, very strong people? Yeah? How do they build mental toughness? Just the way you build physical toughness, same way you build mental toughness. See, just the you build the physical toughness. If I go to the gym and pick up a dumbbell of 25 or 30 kilo, there's no way I can pick it up, and nor can I do 50 reps. I can't. If I try it, I will be lying in the bed with a pain in my arm. So what do? I go and pick up 5 kilos and I do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 reps gradually, and gradually start building 10 to 6 reps, 5 kilo, 6 kilo, 7 kilo, 8 kilo, 9 kilo, 10 kilo, and gradually I keep building the strength and so on, and I keep moving. See, folks, it does not happen overnight. If you want to become a positive person overnight, for the rest of your life, you will run into disappointment. You will run into disappointment and you will quit. Go gradually. See, tell your mind, I want to stay positive 10 minutes. 10 minutes is better and easier and doable, better than lifetime overnight. So wait a minute, 10, stretch it to 12. 12 to 14, 14 to 15, 16, and gradually you start building stretching. This is a process, ongoing process, number one. And number two, once we have built ourselves mentally tough, do we stay there permanently for the rest of our life? Answer is no. You see, just like an athlete, when they stop exercising, you are an athlete, you stop exercising. Does your stamina remain the same as it is? No, it starts going down. Does your muscle go flabby? Answer is yes, they do. So it is something, motivation is like your battery. You use your mobiles, and when you use your mobile, does your mobile battery remain the same? It gets discharged. So you have to recharge. So same thing here, you keep recharging and coming back, recharging, coming back, recharging and coming. That is how life is all about. A great violinist once said, if I don't practice for a month, my audience can tell the difference in my performance. If I don't practice for a week, my family can tell the difference in my performance. And if I don't practice for one day, I can tell the difference in my own performance. But why do I share this? Some of the greatest musicians, artists, everybody, no matter what level they have reached, they still practice. Who was that sitarist, Ravi Shankar or somebody's great guy? At what his level was, but every day morning, 4 o'clock, he used to practice 2 hours and then continue. That's how he maintained that way. There is no other way. There is no shortcut. Let me tell you that. There is no shortcut.
To hard work.
To hard work. You see, if you could become a neurosurgeon by taking a weekend course, or if you could get a black belt martial art by taking a weekend course, or you could become a proficient musician by taking a weekend course, my friend, neurosurgeon, hawker stalls on the side will be chopping your head and giving it in your hand. It doesn't work that way. It does not. There is no substitute to hard work. And especially for today's generation, who are so-called educated with degrees and MBAs and so on, you keep hearing, don't work hard, work smart. No. You got to work hard and you got to work smart, both. Go look at what Narayan Murthy has been saying. 70 hours a week. Elon Musk, guy says 80 hours a week. And if you don't want to work that much, pack your bag and quit. Leave it. Pack your bag and leave. And there's a very nice saying which I put on to my social media. If you want to buy things in life without looking at the price, start working without looking at the clock. I tell you one thing, there's a lot of truth in it. And the average CEO, even in the US today, they works 55, 60 hours. I worked that many. I worked many more hours. So what? I bet you have, and I bet, and your parents, where they built have the company that they have built, they worked that many hours. Go check out. It didn't come easy. It did not come easy. So we have to work out. And I'm glad it doesn't come easy. I'm glad it does not come easy. They have no value. And there are so many kids today who have inherited wealth and they have no value for it. They have no value. With the result, they don't want to put the time, they blow up money, they throw things, they're spoiled brats. They're spoiled brats.
I mean, they have money but no respect.
No respect, no values. No values, no respect, and that's about it.
Many people of this generation, they don't know the importance of good ethics. So like, how can one build a good character which is full of integrity, transparency, care, and how can, somebody achieve success through this?
Why blame the kids? It's the parents at fault. Where are they learning from? Parents, media, society, and everywhere that is what is going on. If they're learning from all these things, and no doubt, my next book is coming on parenting. Parenting today has become much tougher than it used to be earlier. That is true. Earlier, we did something wrong, we used to get a slap on our face. But today, you see, slapping your kid in the Western world, you see, they have an 800 number. No, the cops will come in. You call the 800 number, they'll take you in. What was the logic behind it? Oh, child abuse, child abuse, child abuse. You know something today, what's happening? It is reversed. It has started parenting abuse. Parent abuse today. I have a friend of mine who's a psychiatrist in the US, and he says, parents come in and they tell me that we ask our kids, where are you going? What time would you be back? What are you going to be doing? Who are you going with? And he asks 5 questions. You know what the kid says? Dad, you asked me too many questions, I'll just call the cops. You asked me too many questions, I'll just call the cops. They're threatening the parents. This is called parent abuse. This is ridiculous. And I personally feel slapping a kid once in a while is not child abuse. And I'm writing my book. I've been slapped 3 times by my mother till the age of 20. Now, 3 times in 20 years, that's 1 slap every 7 years. Man, that's not child abuse. What are we talking? So we need to understand what the whole thing is all about. And sometimes you can explain all you want to a child, they still don't understand. They still don't understand. Sometimes the answer is, because I say so and shut up. People who have never learned to obey can never learn to command. I repeat, people who have never learned to obey can never learn to command. At the same time, you look at people like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, till the age of 14, they never gave the kids the laptops and the mobiles. How do you like that? They are the ones who are manufacturing and distributing all over the world. But they didn't. Why is that? They understand. It is really, at the end of the day, parental respect. And look at countries like Australia. They have banned social media up to the age of 16. Do you know that? Up to the age of 16, they said kids are not allowed to go into social media. It is having a negative impact, and that's true. They're confused. Their self-esteem has gone down. They're suffering from inferiority complex. People make a comment and they take it to heart and they don't know what's going on. It has also led to gender identity. Gender identity is, I don't know if I'm he, she, me, it, what, they. What am I? I don't know. People are talking, I'm a male body with a female soul. I'm a female body with a male soul. I don't know. What is this nonsense? This is the so-called nonsensical liberal thinking that has come up. These are new things. These are all new things. This is rubbish.
So men don't want to be men anymore.
You know something? They are not at peace with themselves. They don't like them. They can't accept themselves. This is lack of self-acceptance. And with the result, they want to be something else. They want to pretend to be something else. They put on a false mask. They do all kinds of things today just to get accepted. You just look at it. Tell me, why do people buy designer things today? Now, what is wrong with designer? Nothing. I like it, love it, live it, enjoy it. But there are many people who buy designers because it puts them into a class. That designer label gives them identity, as if they don't, and they have no identity of their own. No wonder people give in to peer pressure. They start drinking, taking drugs, taking all kinds of peer pressure. Because if the group does not accept them, they have no identity.
So, sir, what guidance can you give to those people who gets into the habit of drinking, drugs, vaping only because of sheer peer pressure, because they see their friends or their family doing it, so they just do it just to fit in that circle. So, can you just guide them on how they can get out of this vicious cycle?
They are looking for acceptance from them. See, if they don't accept them, they have no confidence in themselves. They are not at peace inside. They have a problem here. People who are at peace inside, let me share with you what it means. What is self-esteem? Self-esteem is the way we feel about ourselves. When we feel good, the world looks nice, productivity goes up, and relationships are a lot better, aren't they? And the reverse is just as true. And self-esteem is inversely related to egos. Have you seen people with egos like two people, don't they? They put down others, don't they? And every decision they make is more to satisfy ego than make sense. Now think about it. People with such egos, I know it all, what do? They feel good when you feel bad. They feel superior when you feel inferior, which means they don't want to lift themselves up, but they want to pull others down. This is typical behavior. This is one kind of ego, which is I know it all ego. Second is a fragile ego. Anything you say, I take it personally, I get hurt. Anything you say, I take it personally, I get hurt. Now you tell me, how can you work with people like that? How can you live with people like that? Can you have colleagues in the office, people like that? Can you get married to people like that? How can you live? This is a major issue. What is missing? What is missing is, see, the driver to high self-esteem is self-acceptance. I came into this world, how I came, I have no idea. But I'm here and I'm here to stay. I accept myself the way I am with my pluses and minuses. I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect, but I accept myself the way I am. I am at peace with myself. Now, when I say I accept myself the way I am, does not mean complacence. Does not mean that's the way I am, that's the way I will be. It does not say take it or leave it. That's arrogance. That is all arrogance. But it says, look, I have my pluses and minuses. I accept myself the way I am. I make mistakes. I made mistakes. I apologize for my mistakes. I seek forgiveness for my mistakes. I learned from my mistakes. I will not repeat my mistakes. I'm not proud of my mistakes, but I am not a mistake. I am not a mistake. I am at peace with myself, with my pluses and minuses. Doesn't mean I'm going to say that way. That would be arrogance. This is humility. See, there's a difference. Whereas low self-esteem, inferiority complex is driven by what? Ego. Inadequacy. Yeah. I'm inadequate. I have to prove something. No, guy, he has to prove nothing. See, inadequate. They feel good when you feel bad. And they are living with self-doubt. And you can see in behaviors today, there are people who buy things they don't need with the money that they don't have to impress people who don't mean a thing. Don't people do that? Of course they do. All the time. So they don't understand that people make things, things don't make people. And not only that, Bharat, I'm sure there are people, and I hope you don't have friends like that, but there are people who put too much emphasis on material things. They keep looking at the kind of clothes you wear, the kind of jewelry you have, the kind of car you drive, the kind of homes you live. You know why? Because they judge your self-worth by your net worth. I repeat, they judge your self-worth by your net worth. Not only do they judge your self-worth by your net worth, they also judge their own self-worth by their own net worth. See, no wonder they keep making comparisons with the Joneses, which Joneses means other people. How come they have this, I don't have this? How come they have this, I don't have it? How come they have this, I don't have it? How come they have this? So now, no wonder they keep buying the designer clothes, buying the designer car, buying the designer things, because that's what they don't understand. People make things, things don't make people. You take away the things, they'll die out of shame.
So, sir, is this also a fact that when people see that one person has so much of things in his life, so they start comparing their life with his life or her life, and they get into this cycle of jealousy. They get jealous of that specific person because that person has so much in his life or her life, which that person might not have. And that ends up in a lot of overthinking, a lot of stress for that person.
People, the kind of character they have, you get friends in life, not the kind of people we want. We get friends in life, the kind of people we are. Those people with low self-esteem, they're happy with people with low self-esteem. So no wonder they keep playing the same games back and forth again and again and again, and that's about it. They're not genuine people. They are not genuine people. They never have genuine friends. You know why? Because they are not genuine themselves. And these are people, keep in mind, they will compromise values for ulterior motives anytime. We talk about this for 5 hours in our leadership program. They compromise values for ulterior motives anytime. See, boyfriend, girlfriend lie to each other. Husband, wife lie to each other. Employer, employee lie to each other. Buyer, seller lie to each other. Salespeople lie to others to make a sale. Now, you see, they compromise values. You got your ulterior motive accomplished, but you don't keep your commitment. What happened to your credibility? Goes down. But people with high self-esteem, they will never compromise credibility. They'll walk away. They will walk away rather than transact by telling lies. And people who compromise values, Bharat, they can never make good leaders nor make good followers. I repeat, they cannot make good leaders nor make good followers. You know why? You can't trust them. You can't trust them. And without trust, where's the relationship? Nothing. It's hollow. Total nonsense. So that's really what the whole thing, that's why you find today people don't make commitments. In the Western world, look at the divorce rate.
Very high.
50, 60, 70%. California, 90% divorce rate. My new book is coming out on relationship. And it's talking of that about 200 years ago, in the Western world, there was no concept of love marriage. Pretty much all marriages were arranged marriages. That means the marriage came first and love came after. And granted, they might have had problems, but by and large, they lasted. But today in the Western world, pretty much all marriages are so-called love marriages. That means love comes first and marriage comes later. And they have 50, 60, 70, 80% divorce rate. So what is the reason?
No commitment.
No commitment. And so they have with a compromise midway, and that is, let's live in together without making a commitment. This is what the Western world has become now. Let us live together without making a commitment. And you ask them, what is the purpose behind it? And the purpose behind it is, we're checking compatibility. And for 3, 4, 5 years, they keep checking compatibility, and then they get married, and 1.5 hours later, they have a divorce. What the hell did you check? What's missing is the commitment. You know something? Question is, have you ever seen a compatible couple in this world? There is none in this world. Go look at your parents. Are they compatible? You see, it's not compatibility that keeps a relationship going. It is our ability to live with the incompatibilities in life that keeps a relationship going. Now, the only one thing that must be compatible is our values. Values have to be compatible. Other than that, it is all adjustment, flexibility, and that's what really the whole thing is all about. And when people are not committed, problems have to come. Problems do come. But people who are not committed, the moment they see a first problem, they pack up and quit and run away. They will run away. And no wonder they never get anywhere. No wonder the attrition today in companies, the moment they run into a problem, they quit, give a resignation, pack up, go to the next, go to the next. No wonder that's what they do. You get resumes, 3 months here, 4 months here, 5 months here, 6 months here. What nonsense.
What is the main reason that people hop their jobs? Is it solely because of monetary terms?
They are not committed. They are just, sadly today, they get a piece of paper which is called that degree or whatever that happens to be. The expectations are so high, they all want to start as CEOs. One. And number two, that ego problem, that me generation has created a problem. Slightest thing, they are not willing to act. It's a me generation today. That's a big problem today. No wonder they can't live. Today, they're so comfortable with the technology, they aren't comfortable with people. They're not comfortable with people anymore. Slightest thing, they feel hurt. You hurt my feelings every minute. They pull each other down. This is all self-esteem issue. 5,000% self-esteem issue. And they look at the job work they do. Just see the kind of, how many errors they make. And what is the output productivity? So you see, people who take pride in their performance, they hold themselves accountable to much higher standards of performance than others do. You don't find that many errors. Mistakes are bound to happen. For all of us, we all make mistakes. But they double check their own stuff. They proofread their own stuff. They check 10 times. But people who don't take any pride in performance, they'll be giving you a slipshod job.
So, Mr. Khera, can you just tell me that how can one give a good feedback to their colleagues, to their partners, to their kids? Because many people don't know the art of giving feedback.
See, there is something called constructive feedback. Now, Bharat, if an athlete does not perform well, would a coach remain silent? Should he remain silent? Now, if he does remain silent, is he a good coach? Would the athlete ever improve? Answer is never. So the coach must give feedback or constructive criticism, which we call. And nowadays, people like to use the word feedback rather than criticism, but it doesn't matter. They have the same. Now, rose, you can call it by any name. This smells tin. Is this nice? Is the same thing. So one is the giver aspect. The second is the receiver part also must be receptive with an open mind, also take it constructively. So there must be a level of trust factor between them. We have multiple factors that how you give constructive feedback. Now, the most important thing is one should criticize as a coach with a caring attitude. You see, in any criticism, the attitude always comes through. Is the objective to correct or to punish? It's a caring attitude. So attitude should be corrective. And two is that the giver, before criticizing, must get all the facts right. Many times we make those mistakes ourselves. I know I've been guilty myself. I went ahead, criticized, only to find that my own facts were not accurate. Now, it's not a good feeling. So we all have a right to our own opinion, but we don't have right to wrong facts. At the same time, while criticizing, give the other person a benefit to correct. You should always show them a benefit. Why should you change? Why should you correct? Look at this. By doing this, how much it'll help you, me, and the entire organization. So give them a benefit of correcting and also show them a loss from not correcting. And most important thing is criticize the behavior, not the person. Because when you criticize them personally, you attack them, their own self-esteem goes down. You attack them personally. And very important thing is one should criticize in private and not in public. Why? Because when you criticize in public, people feel humiliated. They feel insulted. Their self-esteem goes down. They cannot even look at themselves in the mirror anymore. So they feel insulted badly. And keep one statement in mind. People forget injuries. They don't forget insults. People forget injuries. They do not forget insults. So criticize in private. But sometimes public issues need to be criticized in public. But criticize the behavior, not the person. Criticize the issue, not the person. Another important thing is that while criticizing, we should not question the intent of the other person. See, the moment you question the intent, it becomes an integrity issue, no more a mistake issue, which has to be handled very differently. And also, while criticizing, we need to watch our own tone of voice and body language as a giver and receiver also. So we need to be cognizant. That's why it is said that timing of criticism is very crucial. When should you criticize? Should you criticize immediately when things go wrong, or should you delay it? Now, what is the right answer? None of them is the right answer, or both could be the right answer. You see, when we see something wrong, many times we get upset, we get emotionally disturbed as a giver. And when we are not in the right frame of mind, we end up saying things that we end up regret later. So, one, we need to be clear, the giver must be stable, mentally stable at that point. And if they're not stable, they should not give it. And also the receiver should be receptive. If the receiver is emotionally upset, should you give criticism at that time? Answer is no. Delay it. But sometimes both parties are okay. Well, do it on the spot and be done with it. So there are many things how to give and receive constructive criticism. And criticism, this is one area where most people go wrong, including myself. Leaders go wrong in this side. And that becomes a cause for stress. And stress has become a big issue today. It's a reality. It is both natural and normal. It is unavoidable. Stress is unavoidable. And stress is something that we cannot delegate. We have to handle it ourselves. So, and now the question comes, what you were asking about attitude and mindset. See, stress comes because of two reasons: external factor, internal factor. External factor is weather is bad, traffic jams, death in the family, something happened. These are political turmoil, war in Ukraine. I mean, this is beyond us. These are external factors. So, but internal factors are, for instance, we are going somewhere and we're stuck in a traffic jam. Now, traffic jam is external, but how do we react or respond to the traffic jam is our internal factor. Some people might put on an educational video or a tape or something and they listen to it. The time is so well spent. And that is invested time. Same thing, but you handle it differently. How we respond. That is why it is said, response is positive, reaction is negative. Example, a man was going to the office, had a little fender bender accident, came out all anxious and shouting, "You ruined my day, you ruined my car, you ruined this, you ruined that." And they shouted back and forth. He reached the office and he said, "What a bad day, I had an accident." And he created a ruckus in the office also. His secretary and the entire staff all got stressed up. And because they all got stressed up, their output went down. They were demotivated. And then in the evening, secretary went home and her son was all excited to meet mom. And she was so upset. He says, "Let me be alone." And now that boy sat down quietly on the other side and he had a little puppy dog who wanted to come and play with this kid. And the kid says, "Oh, shut up, you get out now." And the now puppy dog sits on the side in the corner. Look at the ripple effect. Look at the ripple effect. This is John. But there's another guy who's going to the office, had an accident, his car rolled on twice, and eventually he came out of the window unhurt, unscratched. And he said, "Boy, the good Lord must be riding with me today. And what a lucky day." He goes to the office, calls everybody and says, "What a lucky day. Time to celebrate. Thanks a lot." And buddy, he created the whole positive energy. See, look at this. Same thing. Same accident. Look at the reactions and responses of people. So that's what we say. Response is positive. Reaction is negative. See, you go to a doctor and the doctor asks you, "How is the treatment working out with you, the medicine that I gave you?" And if a person says, "It's working very well, I'm responding well," he says, "You're responding well." But if the patient says, "I got allergies, I got side effects of this," that means the medicine has reacted, let me change the medicine to you. See, that's why we talk in terms of responses are proactive things. Reactions are reactive things which create problem in life. And that's where we run into problems.
How important is it to develop interpersonal skills to give feedback? Because what I think that a good interpersonal skill can definitely amplify your sort of skill to give feedback, only because you would understand the intent of the other person. You can wear the other person's shoes and see what he or she is going through, and your level of giving feedback amplifies if you know how to give with the right language, with the right wording, and with the right body posture.
My friend, it all comes down to interpersonal skills, how we behave with each other, how we treat each other. Remember one thing, people forget what you say, people forget what you do, but people always remember how you make them feel. I repeat one more time, this is so important. People forget what you say, they forget what you do, but they always remember how you made them feel. They never forget that. So that is where interpersonal skills are very crucial. And there are certain basics that we need to understand, which all emanate from self-respect, courtesy, politeness. And there are people who are always argumentative. You want to stay away from people like that. There are people who have a little sense of humor, and good humor, not vulgar humor. There is humor that is bordering on decency and vulgarity. Stay away. Stay on the decent side. There are so many things, and no matter what, there are people who are gossip mongers. They will talk different things behind you. They're gossip mongers. There are people who are argumentative. They always want to have the last word. Why? Ego. And why ego? Self-esteem. It comes back to self-esteem. There are people you can work and trust with. Why? Because they have integrity. And people who don't have integrity. Yeah, but there are some people who are good actors. They act sweet, they act very polite, till they have ulterior motive, and the ulterior motive is accomplished, then they kick you. There are all kinds of people. So one has to be wise enough and mature enough to understand the behavior of the other person. Now, is it easy to understand? No, it is not. It's not easy to understand. But at the same time, that is where experience in life counts. That is where experience in life counts. And you get some kind of a feeling, who am I dealing with? It is the unsaid factor that says, am I dealing with the right person? What is my past experience? And if you have a past experience with people who have been telling lies or doing all kinds, stop. Enough. That is more than. Don't give second chances, third chances, again and again and again. It doesn't make any sense. There are habitual defaulters and they keep saying sorry. No, pack them up. Pack them up. It's not worth it. So life is too short. These are toxic people. They make life difficult for you. Whenever you are close to them, they carry stress everywhere. Stay with people who are good, who are non-toxic. You build them, they build you, and you grow together. That's what life is all about. This is what we're talking in terms of interpersonal skills. There are many, many elements to it. Courtesy, politeness, respect, responsibility, integrity. They are all things that build relations. It does not happen overnight. It does not. As somebody said, well, when you trust somebody implicitly, you gain one of the two ways. Either you gain a friend for life or you gain a lesson for life. Most of the time it's a lesson. But that's really what we need to come and learn.
So, Mr. Khera, which of the two are more important? A good body language or a good interpersonal skills?
They're totally interrelated. You can't have one without the other. You cannot have one without the other. Body language is involuntary. Right now, the way I'm sitting here, the way I'm speaking, my tone of voice, and my facial expressions, my looking at you, my hand gestures, you think I'm doing it? No. This is something automatic. Non-verbal is something we don't do. Verbal is doing. I am thinking what I have to say. That's a conscious decision, what I'm saying. But my non-verbals is involuntary. And keep in mind, whenever there's a contradiction between verbal and non-verbal, what do you believe? Always the non-verbal. You know why? That is happening subconsciously. Verbal, I am doing consciously. So By and large, you find people give away, you can tell from the nonverbals, the integrity levels, the so on. There are certain, look at eye contact. There are people who are wishy-washy. The eyes communicate a lot. See, they are shifty eyes. So many people who have shifty eyes. So you got to be cognizant of the nonverbals, because there was a study done in California which said 55% of our communication is nonverbal, which is visual, which is a body language. 55%. Gestures, postures, expressions, eye contacts, these are all 55%. And 38% of our communication is tone of voice, how we say. So many times a positive thing said in a negative tone has a negative meaning. If I shouted at you and said thank you very much, well, that's not a thank you anymore. That's nasty. Now, do you have a reason to take offense? Answer is yes. And how do I justify? What did I say to you that you took offense? I only said thank you. No, it's not what I said. How you said was nasty. And only 7% of our communication is verbal. Only 7%. And guess which one do we give the greatest amount of importance to? The 7%. And that is sad but true. We keep thinking, what do I have to say? They say this, I say this. They say this, I say this. They say that. It's only 7%. Now, we do teach public speaking programs to very senior executives, and we talk in terms of body language, tone of voice, how do you bring all these things up, and your verbals. So it's crucial. One, I feel, cannot be separated from the other.
So, Mr. Khera, just to add some fun element to this podcast, who is your biggest role model?
The people I feel who have been good role models to me, I have always loved from the Hollywood, Clint Eastwood, Charles Bronson.
Why?
I'll tell you. James Bond. I like the Sean Connery and then the other guy as they came in, moved on. Somehow I like these guys. They were cool, but they were very firm. They were cool but firm. They were not cold. Hear this. They were not cold, but they were cool, but they were very firm. And you notice one thing, why do I like these guys? Simple as, you look at every James Bond movie. Right from the beginning to the end, James Bond is always sitting on the hot seat. Always sitting on the hot seat means any split second could be life, death, life, death, life, death, life. He's always hanging permanently. Any second he could be gone. Now, you see, he's always on the hot seat, but he maintains a cool head. See, if he does not maintain a cool head, he has a hot head, what happens to decision-making ability? It goes down. He'll take the wrong decision. See, that's what I like about this guy. Hot seat, cool head. Hot seat, cool head. Hot seat, hot head, you're dead. These are guys, the verbals, non-verbals, the body language, the tone of voice. I really love it.
And do you have any Indian role models?
Personally, if I look at it, my role models in the history have been people like Shivaji, Maharana Pratap, Guru Gobind Singh, Netaji Subhash. I've read on him quite a bit. I really admire. Can you imagine a civilian? He was a civilian. Being a civilian, he collected an army of 60,000 people and leading an army like this, and came over and got independence right here. The way he did it, boy, that was a very tough one. So, I mean, Bollywood, I'm not that crazy about it. But yeah, the closest that I like out of the Bollywood was a guy at Rajkumar, old timer, Rajkumar. And that's the kind of guy I really love. Very cool fellow. But I liked it.
And Mr. Khera, last but not the least, if you have to give 3 tips to the youth how to stay uplifted and motivated, so what 3 tips can you give to them?
Okay, I'll share with you only one. Share with you only one. You see, especially in today's environment and generation, because every podcast, everybody is talking of unemployment, massive unemployment is there. And people are talking more is coming, by the way. More unemployment is coming because of multiple reasons. Population is growing. 2 crore people, 20 million people are coming into the market per year. And at the same time, you see, we need to look at upskilling and the automation, AI, everything, robotics is taking away jobs, and it is estimated it'll take more jobs. That is true. And people keep talking of competition, what do I do, and employability and so on. My only one's answer is, there are companies like the Tatas, I believe it was TCS, they have 10,000 vacancies. They don't know, they can't fill it. They can't get the right people. Now, and when we talk of competition, I mentioned to one group of 200 people, I said, never in the history of mankind has it been so easy to succeed in life the way it is today. Regardless of your profession, we have no competition. When I said that twice, one person, the back, got up and he says, tell me, how come we have no competition? So I asked this man a question. And through you, I'm asking this question to all the listeners here. I asked him, and I'm asking you, tell me, how many people do you know right now walking off the street who are willing to do a little bit more than what they get paid for? How many? Answer is hardly any. Most people don't even want to do what they get paid for. There's a second big category of people who only want to do what they can get by with. There's a very small fraction of people who are willing to do a little bit more than what they get paid for. And I asked him, if you fall into that category, I don't care what your profession is, tell me, where's your competition? You can't even find a good accountant today. You can't find a good attorney today. You can't find a good carpenter. You can't find a good plumber. You can't find a good anything. Question is, are you willing to do a little bit more than what you get paid for? What you get paid for? Answer is, most people don't want to do it. If you look at the life histories of people who have succeeded and then sustained success. Success is one thing, sustaining success is another, and then built goodwill. They have lived by this one principle. I shall always give more than what I get to my family, to my organization, to my customer, and to my society and country. And I said, if you live by this one little principle, I don't care what your profession is, tell me, where's your competition? You got none. In fact, you become the competition. You have no competition. And that is missing today. And let me also share with you one more thing, which I addressed the alumni at Maulana Azad Medical College. There were 1,000 doctors from all over the world. And there were people who were talking about GDP going up, skill development. We are spending hundreds, lakhs and lakhs, crores in skill development. This was a gentleman from the Niti Aayog. He was talking about it. So when I was handed over the mic, I said, look, GDP is important and skill development is important. But remember, organizations and countries are not built on skills. They are built on character. You see, you have a highly skillful doctor who lacks character, will do useless procedures, useless surgeries. To them, a sick person is not a patient, but a target to squeeze. To a skillful lawyer who lacks character, a matter that can be resolved in 5 hearings will take 500 hearings. To a skillful judge who lacks character, will give you judgments, no justice. To a skillful IAS, IPS officer who lacks character, will himself become a mafia. To a skillful politician who lacks character, will sell his mother for money. Now look at this, right from our own epics. Ravan was a very learned man. What did he lack? He lacked character. And you know something, if we are teaching all our curriculum and not character, we're only breeding and creating more Ravans in the country. And that's not what you're looking for.
So thank you so much, Mr. Khera, for being here. This podcast was highly insightful, and I'm sure that all thanks to your wisdom, your journey, your experience, that made this podcast highly beneficial for me. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening to this podcast. I hope you all had a great time and it was quite insightful for you. And if there's any feedback, please feel free to drop a comment in the comment section.